The driver's seat is presented by Ray Reese Volkswagen and Portland's Hyundai, Portland's #1 VW dealer, and Portland's newest Hyundai dealer. Now let's climb into the driver's seat on Miles Around Television.
In our driver's seat, it's the 2008 Honda Civic SI. SI denotes sports injection, and we first saw the SIs appear in 1984 on the streets of Japan, and the following year in 1985 in the United States. Now, comes in a two-door. Some of the SIs did come in a four-door, but they were actually fairly rare. And in the older SIs, you just used to be able to denote a bump in the hood, which used to accommodate the larger engine. Now, Honda's a car company that used to make motorcycles and was better known for their motorcycles in the 70s than they were actually making their cars. Some of their cars were only 600 cc's. So with the SI, they've come a long way.
In the 80s, these cars hit my high school parking lot as the little original CRX SI, and they were fantastic to drive. Very aggressive as far as what four-cylinders could do in their day, and it's only got better from there. Now, this is akin to maybe a two-stroke motorcycle. There's not a lot of horsepower down low. It's got this great free revving engine and a very aggressive for the segment exterior styling. We're going to take a look inside, outside, but first let's start under the hood.
Well, Honda must be very proud of the engine underneath the hood of the 2008 Civic Si because they've written it all over the vehicle. It's a dual overhead cam VTEC. This is a 16 valve and it's a 2.0 liter.
It makes 197 horsepower and 139 pounds-feet of torque. Now, that's great horsepower numbers for something of that small of displacement, but it's more about the way that it puts the power on the ground. It has a Torsen limited slip differential in the front, so you don't just do the one-wheeler peeler around the corners, and that's very important when you're talking about a performance-oriented front driver. When you get the car in a corner, if you don't have both wheels driving the power, you're just going to spin that inside wheel every time. One small note I want to make before we move on to the exterior styling of the 2008 Honda Civic Si are these 17-inch rims. Now, 17-inch rims don't seem like they're that big of a set of tires and wheels on a car, but remember, this car is now akin to what is sports car handling from the mid-90s. I mean, you're talking about a little tiny coupe that'll do 0.9 on the skid pad. 17-inch wheels, 0.9 on the skid pad, those are numbers of mid-90s Corvettes. Now, granted, the Corvette has moved forward, and certainly so has a Civic, but it shows how big power, big performance comes in a small package.
Remember, this Civic style won lots of awards when it came out in 2006. Several people named it as their car of the year. On the SI version, there's several things that denote it as a special vehicle. Along with color, it has this huge spoiler on the back end, and then there's certain insignias around the car. You can see one down here as the iVTEC and the DOHC on the side.
There is some definite designations that make it different than the standard Civic. First is the little red SI badge, and it does have a more aggressive front valance. Definitely some different angles. It's lower and more aggressive in its relationship to the ground. And it does have these nice little knockouts in case you want to add either the factory fog lights or maybe some aftermarket ones if you choose to. Now, when it comes to the overall styling, it is kind of a quirky look. It's maybe what you might call a love-hate relationship with the potential buyer, but for me, this is the business end. This is also the best looking end. Moving on to the interior of the 2008 Honda Civic Si, I'm going to make note of a couple things I really like and one that I don't. The first thing I like about this interior are these seats. They're very well bolstered and they hug you just like a racing seat should. They keep you in place, and to tell you the truth, it might come up in my two ups and one down about the vehicle as a whole. My other up is whether or not you're my height, 6'2" and 230 pounds, or your Nick's height, no matter what your body type, you can find either an aggressive or comfortable driving position based on what you want out of the vehicle.
Well, there's a couple of things that Dennis missed on the interior that we have to talk about. First of all, there's this black velvety type of material. It's on the inside of the door panels and also on the seats. I would say a nightmare to clean, although it looks fairly interesting. But let's talk about something that's really cool on the inside, the Honda navigation system. Now, easy to use, easy to get around, and very precise, puts you exactly where you are on the street. A lot of navigation systems, sometimes when you get your streets that are close together, put you a street over or so. This is absolutely accurate to a pinpoint. The other thing on the inside is the great sound system. Also, the HVAC controls just underneath those are very easy to use. And of course, something that makes this Civic SI look really neat is the pedals. Now they are the race style pedals and really finish off the interior of the car. Let's talk about our 2 ups and 1 down for the 2008 Honda Civic SI. I think what they've done with the SI compared to the regular Honda is they've given this car a little more pizzazz, a little more power, and it's a lot more fun to drive. Whereas you might buy a regular Civic to get around with the economical gas usage, you buy the SI because you enjoy to drive, and that's exactly what the car is designed to do. My second up is something adventurous from Honda. The fact is they've gone with these interesting colors. Now, you might say colors are a weak thing to talk about when you talk about a car being fun, but it shows some adventurous on the exterior design. This car is going places, they're doing more with it, and they're experimenting inside the box, which is the Civic. My down for the vehicle has got to be the interior materials.
For me, the first up is going to be the power plant. 197 horsepower in today's performance-oriented world doesn't seem like a lot, and I've seen tuners get 500 horsepower out of these motors. But stock 200 horsepower is a lot, and it makes the car feel fun and aggressive when it comes to driving at a spirited level. Now, the other side is going to be those seats on the interior. Yes, they are a little harder to clean than average, but the shape and the way that they hold you in the seat and let the car tell you what it's doing when you're driving a sports coupe aggressively is one of the best attributes you can find in a car. You don't want to be slipping and sliding all over the interior. Now, when it comes to a downside, it's just basically pointed at the manufacturer. Honda makes a big deal about the coupe. They don't make a big deal about the sedan. The SI sedan, for me, is a better value simply because a lot of us need to put a baby seat, dogs perhaps, luggage, or just more people in the car when we're traveling from place to place. That's going to be my down for the Honda Civic Si. And completing our review right here on Miles Around. The 2008 Honda Civic Si comes standard with a 197 horsepower, 2-liter, 16-valve, 4-cylinder engine and a 6-speed manual transmission. The standard vehicle price is $22,860. As an as-tested price, it was $23,495. City mile per gallon EPA rating is 21. Highway mile per gallon EPA rating is 29.
Miles Around Television is broadcasting each week from Gresham Toyota Studios. Walk in, grab your Just Looking badge and relax. Then check out hundreds of new, used, and certified Toyotas worry-free. Gresham Toyota, where just looking is no problem. Kingpin Audio, home of the top 12 installers in the nation. The best products, the best installers, period. If it's not Kingpin, it's just noise. Miles Around Television is brought to you by Baxter Auto Parts. With 4 warehouses stocked full of parts ready to ship, Baxter Auto Parts can get you the parts you need when you need them. Buy with confidence from Baxter Auto Parts. Check them out at BaxterAutoParts.com.